What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I'm back with Icey. He cold as ice. We're here to talk about it. What's up, Ice?
Man, nothing much, bro. I just got out of work, finna head home. Um, yeah, nothing much. Just waiting for my wrist to heal up. I'm losing weight, finna be in a new weight class for amateur fights. I'm excited. Um, yeah, I've got a lot on the horizon to look forward to. And
Turn your
I'm
volume
happy
down
about
two
it.
notches.
Down?
Yeah,
I might be a little loud.
it's
I might
peaking
be
a
talking.
little bit.
Oh, my fault. Is this okay? I might just have to talk
Yeah.
quiet.
No, it's cool. Just as long as you have the volume down. So there's a lot of different things going on in boxing, and I know we got some other interviews that haven't been released. I want to get your thoughts on it. Big news today is Canelo Alvarez and DAZN. They're basically not seeing eye to eye. They want to give Canelo a pay cut, half off of what he's supposed to be guaranteed. He's in the neighborhood of getting $35 million per fight. That's what allegedly his contract stipulates for the 10 fights. And now they want to cut that to 17.5 as they're looking to have a preferred option. They don't feel like he's generated the type of interest and looks for their platform. And the Athletic is reporting it, so you guys can see on the screen, right? It says DAZN is looking for a, quote, premier opponent for Canelo Alvarez next. The streaming service does not view Caleb Smith or Billy Joe Saunders as that. So I talked about it. What are your initial thoughts on that whole? It's just a mess. It's like a big soap opera between DAZN, Golden Boy, and Canelo. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Honestly, the whole situation is kind of unprofessional. Oh, and very unprofessional, not kind of, on both sides. when you did the live this morning, I think, and or the video, whatever, and you explained how Canelo and his team, I guess, didn't look over at their contract. I was just like in my head, I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do you not have a lawyer or somebody to do that like immediately? I
I
was
think
just
sometimes when people are throwing big numbers, it kind of lessens it, and maybe just seeing all them O's, because they said it was like the richest sports contract, 365 million. Maybe they didn't look at some of the fine details. And actually, let me explain what you're referring to. So, according to the article, Canelo's team wanted to see the pact between Golden Boy and DAZN because Canelo has his own deal through Golden Boy for Canelo's fights. But Golden Boy has a separate deal for Golden Boy cards outside of Canelo. You get me?
yeah,
So what Canelo is now wanting to see is what agreement Golden Boy has between DAZN and Golden Boy directly outside of his own deal. He only knows about his deal. Do you see what I'm saying? So he doesn't know what agreement DAZN and Golden Boy have made with each other. Like for Virgil Ortiz's fights or Ryan Garcia, Marlon Esparza, Lamont Rowe. He doesn't know what that entails. That's what he was
yeah.
trying to get a copy of.
But see, it's like why does that? Oh, well, okay. Why does that apply to his career directly? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the contract that Golden Boy or DAZN made, that deal. Why does that matter to him so much? He should be concerned with.
Because I think the way he's looking, I understand him. He's looking at it like you, first of all, I don't think
Unless
Golden
I'm
Boy,
missing something, I don't know.
you are, I think. Golden Boy, I don't think was transparent with Canelo. DAZN really wanted Canelo, obviously. HBO
Yeah,
got out of
of
the
course.
boxing business, so they wanted Canelo. Off,
That's why, like, when the deal happened, we didn't hear shit about Golden Boy exclusively signing to the zone, although that may have happened.
they did
We heard
say it.
about,
They just said they had X amount of dates for a year, but the big
but
news was
that
Canelo.
flew, yeah, that flew under the radar, whereas the Canelo deal was plastered all
So
over the
that's why he
place.
wants to know about it. He wants to know
Okay,
about it because the deal, whatever Golden Boy for their independent fights, is off the back of his name. The person
yeah,
that really wanted was Canelo.
got you, got you,
So
got you.
Canelo's probably looking at, because he has his own promotion. He has Canelo Promotions. So he's
Yeah,
looking at it like, you making a deal off of the back of my name because they wanted me, and you're helping your other fighters, but I'm not seeing no money from that. So
yeah,
that he
for
would
sure.
have. Imagine, okay, so here's an example. Let's say Icey, you on behalf of you, I say, hey, I manage Iccy, and I go to Apple. I go to the Apple offices. They want to sign you to some kind of endorsement deal, or deal like Drake or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
go into Apple offices and I negotiate on behalf of you as your representation. But then I cut out a side deal for Boxingego that has nothing to do with representing you.
Got you.
Herein lies the problem. I'm supposed to be managing and facilitating a deal between you, but I also in the process say, hey, Apple, if you want Iccy, who I manage, then you got to give Boxingego some love too. You don't see
So
why it's a
okay,
problem?
I think I understand what you're alluding to. So basically, if Canelo goes and gets a copy of this side deal that DAZN and Golden Boy made, he may figure out that there's some sort of tomfoolery that ties him and the other Golden Boy stable, or Golden Boy as a stable to the zone. Whereas, like for example, if that other deal is, has something in it that says, okay, as long as we get Canelo, you guys can be on our network. If Canelo can figure out some way to get out of there, then where's Golden Boy's home gonna be? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, but I also don't know where the zone stands on that. Like, do they want to give
I,
up Golden Boy?
I don't know where you're going with it. I think ultimately the bigger point is just Golden Boy facilitated a deal that benefited Golden Boy using Canelo's name, period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Canelo is not getting none of the money from Golden Boy shows. Like
Got you.
if Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, Lamont Roach, Keandre Gibson, Rashidi Ellis, Canelo doesn't get money from those shows.
But they use his name to make the deal.
But
Okay.
they got the deal based on Canelo, so they
Yeah,
hooked
yeah, yeah.
themselves up too. It's so
Okay.
it's pretty. So Canelo's probably looking at it like, man, I got Canelo promotions fighters. Like you should have gave me some of them dates, so I could be getting some money off of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
it just you got to be transparent with your business partners. You can't get side deals unbeknownst to you. You know that's what
That's
I think.
crazy how none of this stuff ever happens to PBC. It's so crazy. Like, I guess like
Well, I
they were
think the
supposed to be
PBC
the
has a different
cancer of
setup.
boxing, and
They have a
they were
different
supposed to.
setup. Al Heyman's an advisor, so he's advising. He allows those guys to be their own promoters as well. Charlo has their
Yeah.
own promotional Lions Only promotions. Lions
But
Only.
isn't it so weird how
Errol
like
Spence.
you rarely hear any complaints about Al Heyman from his own fighters? I mean, even
Not
guys.
weird. I don't think it's weird.
Nah, like it's so weird though, because I thought he was supposed to be the cancer of boxing. What happened? He's supposed to be like the tumor of the sport, right? So why don't we ever hear
But
these things
that's
about Al?
because I think that's projection. People project what they want it to be and what they could be doing. They said he was the cancer. Maybe they the cancer. You see what I'm saying?
I said this to you last week, and this is no knock on Top Rank, and I may have some details wrong, but Abram Martinez was signed to Top Rank, and he fought on ESPN Plus cards and whatnot. I think a few were untelevised cards. For those who don't know, who saw the fight on Saturday, Lara Vendetti in the first undercard fight, Abram is Rolly's friend. So this is how I know this, because I follow Abram. He was, signed to Top Rank, whatever. Kind of flew under the radar.
I
I
never
think
even heard of him until then, but he could scrap. I like what I've seen.
this I think was his first or second fight on PBC, and already he's on fucking national television against an undefeated Olympian power puncher on the undercard of Lara Vendetti.
That
So
that Arcon or whatever his
yeah,
name
Luis
was,
Arcon, that dude's a bad motherfucker
Arcon
too.
versus Martinez. That was my fight of the night. I thought that was better than Victor Postal Ramirez. I thought it was better than Lotta Vendetti. I thought that was the fight of the night, to be
You
honest.
mean Marias? Marias?
Who?
Marias? What was his name?
No.
Marames?
What are you talking about? No, Victor Postal and Jose Ramirez.
I
Oh, you
thought it was
talking about that?
Marias.
Oh, that Bradley stuff. Ramirez and
Bro, when I heard that, I was like, yo, they're finna have that all over Twitter.
no, I thought you were trying to say the Rolly dude Marinas or whatever.
Nah. Nah, but I know, yeah, Jose
Yeah.
Ramirez. But yeah, that shit was sick. I hope they run that back. But Yeah, like
Go down,
y'all
go
can say,
down a couple. Go down a couple.
oh, sorry,
They're coming in super hot.
my fault, my fault. Y'all can say whatever, we love PBC and all that shit, but the truth is,
Man, I love boxing.
yeah, we love boxing. Period. Like y'all
I mean,
niggas
who's putting
say
on like real talk? Let's just get into it. Who's putting on the hottest fights right now?
PBC
Exactly.
on
So
Showtime and Fox. So
yeah,
like, there's a reason they got to deal with two networks, one
like real
premium,
talk.
one
They
national.
see like people want to hate, but let's just be real. Let's we're in a pandemic when Top Rank and other promoters came out with their schedule. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren. Joe Joyce, I don't even know who he fought. Daniel Dubois, I don't know who he fought. And nobody complained about it. You know what I mean? Fight camp, half of those fights, I didn't know what they were. A lot of top ranked cards they fell apart during the summer series. People were failing tests and drug tests and COVID tests and stuff like that. But then when it comes to PBC, you see a negative energy from old media
I
where
do like, I did
they're
like that Alvarez versus Joe
complaining.
Smith Jr. fight though. That shit was
That was a
hot.
good fight. Um, yeah, I mean, everyone has good fights when occasionally, but in general, I would say PBC is dropped the gauntlet when it comes to a lot of the quality matchups. Like for example, Luis Ortiz, they said he's going to fight on the Andy Ruiz card likely. They're saying Andy Ruiz in November versus Chris Arreola and Luis Ortiz on the undercard. And you've seen people from old media attempting to hate on that fight saying, oh, why are they fighting each other? But it's like, where's that energy for some of these other cards? You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
obvious, like they need to stop because PBC has done this in the past. It's obvious they're setting that kind of clash up. Because even though we got
exactly.
Charlo versus Derevyanchenko now, fucking Derby was at the Hogan fight. That's number one. But Chris Eubank Jr. fought Matvey Korobov on the undercard. And it
Mhm.
was very obvious to me that they were either going to set up a Korobov Charlo rematch or Eubank Charlo rematch or Eubank Charlo fight, which I'm sure we'll
Exactly.
get sometime in the future. So it's not like having,
Yeah,
like,
people are
I don't think they're
complaining saying
complaining.
Luis Ortiz is fighting Scott Alexander, but it's a pandemic fight, and I think they're actually going towards Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz should they both win. And I think that's a hell of a fight if that goes on.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, you got two premier heavyweights in a fight. Like, there's nothing wrong with building something up as long as it makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
one
a
thing to
succession plan. That's what I like to
exactly,
call it.
cause then, like sometimes I would say people know Ortiz, but not everybody knows Ortiz. I'd say more people know Ruiz at this point. But if
I
you
don't know.
build,
Luis Ortiz got a lot of love at the fights I was at, like
he
Mikey Garcia,
does,
Robert Easter, and he fought
yeah,
on Wild. He fought Wilder twice, so I think a lot of people know who he is. He was on pay per view.
yeah, you're right, you're right. Sorry, but just like there's nothing wrong with, like, that builds anticipation, that builds hype. Like, imagine if both these dudes win, and then Ortiz jumps in the ring after Ruiz in the main event. You know what I'm saying? And then they start
Who
talking
would you
shit
pick
in
in that fight?
Spanish. To be real with you, I'd have to see how both of them look. Ortiz, from what I've seen, is more consistently disciplined. So I might be leaning towards him just off of that.
Mm.
And he seems a little bit trickier skill wise. But to be real with you, I got to see how both of them are looking because I don't know if Ortiz is the same after the second Wilder fight.
Yeah, that
And
power is crazy.
yeah, and Ruiz, um, he got to come correct because I did not like that AJ shit.
All right, Canelo prediction: will he fight in 2020? Yes or no? Why?
If not against Yildirim,
No, will he
then
fight in general? Like, do you think he'll fight with all this drama going on? Will he fight?
to be honest, I don't think so.
You think this drama will cast him, out?
I mean, they were for different reasons, but when Andre Ward was having legal trouble, he was out for what, like a year, 2 years, some shit like that, something crazy.
Wow, that's a good point.
So
Mikey
these are not,
Garcia in top rank,
yeah,
Chavez in top rank. Yeah,
any
it
sort
does
of
take a
court
while.
issue involving a lot of money.
That's a good point.
That's not something that's just gonna be, all right, let's get this shit done and let's go home. Like, this is stuff that's gonna,
Especially in the
I'd say it's
pandemic
taking,
year, because they already have the no crowd stuff to worry about. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So that's just how I feel about it. Like this shit is gonna it takes time. Like if the zone is taking him to court and then Canelo's trying to like counter sue for his full paycheck and all this shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it sounds like a clusterfuck going on. That's why I said like it's
Sound
unprofessional.
bad.
Yeah, it's terrible, bro. Because the zone should have right out the gate been like, all right, Canelo, we'll give you this money, but we gotta have this like you can get one off fight, whatever the fuck, your first fight there. Like the Rocky Fielding fight, that should have been a one off. I didn't even give him flack for that because I was like, all right, as long as he does his thing with the next opponent. And then he fought Jacob. So I was like, oh bet. All right, Canelo. I was like, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because he said he wanted to be undisputed for the end of 2019. I was like, bet he's doing what he said. Fought Jacobs. I didn't like the rehydration clause, but whatever. He beat Jacobs. The fight wasn't the greatest fight, but he did his thing. Um, and for anybody that thinks I'm hating, listen, the fight just wasn't that boring to me
No, I don't think it lived up to
or that great to me.
expectations.
Yeah, like Triple
Okay.
G, Canelo 1 and 2 were better than Canelo Jacobs in my opinion.
Okay, so my question to you is this. I see a lot of the Canelo like radical man fans that aren't willing to be realistic. They say names like Jamal Charlo versus Canelo. They have a bunch of excuses like, oh, who's Charlo fought? He doesn't sell. Do you think Charlo, at the point he's in his career, and if Canelo, if they were to fight, do you think that would qualify as one of the premier opponents that DAZN is looking for?
Absolutely, because Charlo from Houston, and what are the three main ethnic groups in Texas?
I don't know. Black, Mexican, white?
Exactly, and you got a bunch of those in Houston.
Fact.
So put it right there in NRG stadium, and there's three. Like for those, I may be getting the names mixed up, but there are three. So for those of you who say Charlo only sold 6,000 tickets at NRG Arena, that's because NRG Arena's max capacity is 6,000. That's not NRG Stadium.
There
It's
was
not
a
the
I
same
went to that
shit.
fight and there was a soccer tournament or something at like the very right
Yeah,
next
it
door
was.
to it.
I was there too. So we had because my family and I had to navigate. Basically, they had everybody going to the soccer game one way and everyone going to the fight
Yeah.
another
So
way.
imagine if there was nothing else that you had to contend or compete with. Last question to you was what did you think of the Charlo, the Zooms, like the Charlo, are they lit? They're both in upcoming fights, Derevyanchenko, Rosario. I just want to get some quick thoughts on that. What did you think of their Zooms? I know you've seen the press conferences.
I like them. I think they're hilarious.
I like what the Charlos are doing. I think the energy levels, the entertainment value, you get a lot of bang for your buck
That's
because
what I'm saying. Like I don't
people
understand
be
how there's a
hating,
lot of
bro.
these. Bro, there's a lot of like grown men in boxing that are like just soft. Like they be tripping talking about I don't like these
Emotions.
guys' attitudes.
I love
Like
it. I like the
yeah.
Lions only energy. They're competitive, they're fierce, they're brotherly.
Like you
You
can
know what I'm
like
saying?
both. Like if you like a humble fighter, that's cool. But you can like a shit talking,
Nah, F that.
hype fighter too.
I like that hype. They got me hyped for their events.
Me too. Like you know what I'm saying? I can appreciate both. Like I like, I
All
can
right,
like
I got
a
a
Mikey
question.
Garcia.
I'm gonna switch gears. Rosario, on a scale of 0 to 10, what is his threat level to Jermell Charlo? 0 to 10, 10 being the highest threat. Jason Rosario, Bananas or whatever his name is, on a scale of 0 to 10, how dangerous of a fight on paper is he to like coming off of the J Rock win? 0 to
I
10.
say I say an 8.
Okay. So,
Um
okay, next. Sergey Derevyanchenko coming off the Triple G performance. 0 to 10. What threat level is he going into that fight on paper?
like a 5 or 6 in my
He's a
opinion.
5? You
A
bugging
5
with
or
that, bro.
6. Nah, a 5 is not no, and I'll tell you why. I'll explain why.
You
Some
bugging.
people are gonna say I'm shit talking for that, or I'm in love with the Charlos, whatever. I'm from Houston, get over it. But that's not the point. I try to be as objective as I possibly can. Every time I see Derevyanchenko and Charlo, like I sit down now. Something I've been doing recently is studying fights
5
and
means
writing.
average. That means he's an average threat. So you think Derevyanchenko on paper is just an average threat? Like just
I
any
say,
that
I
you
said, I
bugging,
said,
bro.
or 6. I said, or
I'm not
6.
saying who you picking in to win. I'm saying on paper, what threat level does he
All
possess?
right, all right. I'll place him at a solid 16. The reason I'll give
That's
him
it.
above
Hey, you
average.
bugging, bro.
I'm not, bro. I'm telling you. Listen, Derevyanchenko to me is not bringing anything to the table that Jamal has not seen or dealt with before already. Like, to me, like, and I like Derby. He's dope, but let's be real. The motherfucker knew how to fight Jacobs because they were sparring partners. So, there's an advantage there as far as knowing how to beat someone. You know what I mean? And making the fight uh wider than it could have been. And in Triple G, I picked Derby to beat Triple G. I told y'all what was gonna happen, and Derby got robbed. So, you know, as far as this fight, after I watched the Jack Kukule performance, like Jamal has everything. Like he has every advantage in my opinion.
I know,
He's
but you
taller.
going more off fight predict. For the record,
Just because I don't.
I'm picking both Charlos to win, but I think you're undermining the on paper threat. I feel like Derevchenko and Rosario, in my opinion, this is just me, ego. In my opinion, you have to fight both of those guys a certain type of way, or they're going to be a very high level threat to anybody in the division.
I
Can
think it's going
Charlos
to
do
be
it? I think
competitive
they can.
until the middle rounds, and I think Jamal is probably going to figure him out. I think Rosario is a much bigger threat to Jamil than Derevchenko is to Jamal because Derby, Derby. So Jamal has a few things going for him in this fight. He has very high success rate with dudes that are like under 6 feet and orthodox fighters. Derby has good movement, yes, but Jamal has dealt with three motherfuckers in a row with weird ass awkward movement, and
You seen
you know
Brandon Adams was in his gym?
yeah, that's dope. If they're
I liked
sparring,
it.
that's another thing.
I
I
liked
showed
it.
my dad even, and he was saying that was like that's genius. If that's what they're doing, I don't
I
know,
still
but
feel
that's
like
dope.
I'm picking, like I said, I think both Charlos win their fights, but I still think you're sleeping on the threat level. You have to fight Derevchenko the proper way. If you come in
Sure.
with a weird, because he showed he can get cut, get back up, and battle you and all that stuff. So I think you have to fight him the right way. I do think Charlo is smart, so I think he will fight him the right way. But I think on paper, these are both like
Okay,
sevens
maybe
or
I'm
eights.
maybe I'm judging it based on threat level to Jamal directly because I don't see what I like Derby, and I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. I know, especially if the fight is closer than I think it's gonna be. But Jamal is taller, stronger, longer, faster, younger, hits harder. Is you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Has
but I said on paper. On paper, I think they both solid eights. Like, you know what I'm saying, in terms of threat level. Again,
I
I
give
think
Rosario the 8. I don't know about. I don't know. I might move it to 7 for
okay,
Derby.
I'm just telling you my opinion. Triple G has fought at the time he fought Derevchenko, he had already fought Canelo twice, and he had already fought against Jacobs. Charlo, some people are looking at it as his biggest threat.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying on paper it's up there. Just because on paper you have to admit that because Triple G at least had recent fights with Canelo and, in my opinion, Jacobs. Charlo, this is clearly on paper his toughest test at middleweight.
Yeah.
Jorge
You're right.
Sebastian Highland, Hugo Centeno,
Matt
um,
Korobov, Brandon
Korobov
Adams,
is
Dennis Hopper.
he's up there, but neither one of them were training for each other for a full 8 to 10 weeks. That's the
Yeah.
only reason. But I think the Charlos will prevail, but I think they have to fight the right fight. That's all I'm saying.
I do think he has to be careful with Derby, but Jamal's smart and he listens to Ronnie Shields. That's why I think this is, like, okay, Derby is a threat, sure. But, above average is still better than average. I just don't think that he's got some crazy X factor that Jamal's not going to be prepared for. But yeah, I think it'll be competitive, very competitive for first 5 or 6 rounds, and then after that, I think Jamal will start to widen the gap between their levels, and then eventually stop them maybe around eight,
I
nine.
think Jamal's athleticism and jab are going to be a major problem for Derevchenko because I
Oh,
don't think he's going to be
Derby,
able to move and do the angles. Triple G is too straight up and down.
Jack
So I think that
Kukale, Jack Kukale, or Koke is fucking 5'9", so he's Derby Checo's height, and Derby's reach is like 67 and a half. Kukale's reach was exactly 2 inches shorter than his, and he was struggling to get in on Koke, and he got hurt.
not a good
So
example though.
Is it though? Is it not? I mean,
Not in my
Jamal's.
opinion, because Jack Kugler just fought over the weekend. He's just awkward. Demetrius Andre is 6'1", and he struggled with Jack Kugler.
Okay, all right,
So,
all right.
and we know Andre's crafty too. I think Kugler is just one of them guys that is just like Postal versus Ramirez. It's just you might not look good against him.
You think Charlo would struggle against Koke though?
I don't know. That's a good.
Yeah.
No, hold on. He just got it. How long has he fought at 160?
Jamal?
No, Kugler.
Um, I don't even know to be honest.
I don't know because I think Jamal is a different beast though, because his last two fights he fought crafty guys like Dennis Hogan, really awkward, lunging in and weird
Shit,
side
last three,
steps.
because Korobov was
Brandon
not
Adams.
no.
Oh yeah, last three. That's what I'm saying. So he's been more versed for these weird, tricky type ambidextrous, weird fighters. You know what I'm saying? So stylistically, Jamal might, just destroy him. But
Yeah,
I think Kukle in general he's just crafty enough to make
yeah,
you.
he an awkward fighter. Yeah, sure. Um, but yeah, I listen. If y'all give me shit, I don't blame you. I'm not saying the fight won't be closer than what I'm making it seem like. 'Cause I'm not saying it's gonna like Jamal's just gonna go in there and dominate Dervyachenko. That would be some wild shit. I think it'll be competitive. I just don't think that Derby is bringing anything to the table that Jamal is not readily prepared for. I think Ronnie Shields is a very smart
What about
trainer.
experience? You don't think he's
Okay,
bringing
well
experience?
then, for amateur experience, you got to give that to Derby automatically, of course. He's been in. That's how Triple G knew him. Triple G had said like that's why because people were saying that Triple G was he's just like for some dumbass reason people will say that certain things Triple G is saying is just for the camera when that's not the case. Like when he admitted that he was scared of Derby or some shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all like? What are y'all talking about? Why would he be making that up? Why would any fighter play like that? Triple G is not like a troll or nothing. He can barely speak English, so he's not like Usyk. You know what I'm saying? Usyk is goofy, clearly, on purpose. Triple G is not really like that. You know what I'm saying? He could joke whatever, but he's not like a goofball. So there would be no point or benefit to him saying, I'm afraid or I'm scared of Derevyanchenko because he knew him in the amateurs. And then, I looked at Derevyanchenko and looked at Triple G and I picked Derby and then we saw what happened. So there was a reason why he said that shit.
This
Um,
this to me is a great fight, and I like the fact that in this particular fight you have a barometer. You know what I'm saying? So you have Charlo with the grand opportunity and ability to do better than Jacobs and Triple G. You see what I'm saying? Like he will really impress me if he cause I'm picking him by stoppage. So if
Me too.
Charlo actually can stop Derevyanchenko, that's going to be a huge cap in the hat
I
for
think
his career
I
because
think
Triple G and Jacobs didn't, come close to that.
yeah, they both dropped them. Triple G's was more of like
Yeah,
a
but he got
slip
right
kind
back
of.
up, so they didn't come close
Yeah.
to stopping him.
I
If
think
anything, it looked like Triple G was about to get stopped damn near. He got hit to the body. He had no guy. He didn't like that.
Oh, Max.
Yeah, and Max. Yeah, he's in Max Payne. The way
Hey,
he.
real talk. Yeah, Max Payne on his ass.
Hey,
But
okay. Did you watch Edislandi Lara over the weekend?
versus Vendetti? Yeah, I watched. I was flipping through channels,
He
but I
said he want
watched
the
it.
winner of Charlo Rosario, Jermel and Rosario.
That'll be interesting. Lara has experience with both Charlo brothers. He used to spar them for years. I don't know if he
Max.
still does.
Does he
Um,
still? Is he too old? Some people are saying he lost a step. He's fighting more flat foot. Who wins that fight? Like who would you
uh,
favor?
I'm definitely picking Jermel. But
Yeah.
another thing is, a lot of people say the Charlo brothers fight the same, and this is bullshit, obviously.
Yeah.
But one big difference between them is Jermel has a very high level of success with southpaws when it comes to handling them in the ring. Jamal, on the other hand, like for example, like Jermel tends to like excel in fighting southpaws in the way you should fight a southpaw. Get your lead foot on the outside of their foot, come down with the right, things like that. He's very good at neutralizing southpaws. Jamal is good too. Don't get me wrong, but he's more about kind of just imposing his will on southpaw. Like Jamal will jab with a southpaw, which some people say you're not supposed to do, and he'll eventually, he'll try and figure you out that way and just go from
The
there. But
only
Jamel,
thing I disagree with that is what southpaw did Jamal fight? Korobov?
Austin Trout
No,
and
Jamal.
Korobov. Yeah, Jamal. He fought Austin Trout.
Oh, but see, the Korobov, you can't really count that. That was a weak notice because Willie Monroe failed a drug test. So I mean, he didn't.
Oh, okay. I mean,
but
but he was gonna. But Willie Monroe's a southpaw also, though. I mean, I guess we never got to saw the result.
But
of
yeah,
that
Willie
fight.
Monroe's a southpaw with minimal knockouts. Korobov got some pop. His straight left is like baby Pacquiao.
Yeah.
So I can't really hold that against Jamal if you know what I mean. Like he wasn't training for that person, and his brother lost on the card. I just think that was a unique night.
Like he still figured Korobov out. He did his thing, but
yeah, he almost stuck
Jamel, from what I've seen,
what southpaws he fight?
He also fought Austin Trout.
Yeah.
Erickson Lubin.
Yeah.
And
he crushed him.
Jorge Cotto was switch hitting, and he knocked him out in the southpaw stance, brutally. And
that was a good one.
I'll have to think, but those are the three that came to my head.
Switch hit?
Harrison, I don't know. I know that Charles Hatley is a switch hitter, but he was fighting orthodox during that fight. So
has he come back since the Charlo knockout?
I don't think so.
No, honestly, I don't recall ever because he was cool. I haven't seen.
Yeah, Hatley was cool.
I think Hatley beat Errol in the amateurs. If I think I heard that.
Shit.
But I mean,
you know what I think would be a really dope fight though?
Who?
If Brian Castaño versus Patrick Teixeira gets ordered,
yeah, that's good.
and Castaño wins, I think I'd like to see Castaño versus like Jarrett Hurd or something. I don't know, or Jamel. But yeah, I think personally to me, Banana is gonna present a much like Joey Spencer, low key. Like I said it, and then Joey said it in an interview recently. I said because I said it in the Discord. I think Charlo Rosario is gonna come down to who kind of gets a big shot off first. I think both guys are gonna be, respect their powers and whatnot, but it's gonna come to a point where they're gonna start throwing blows, and I believe that it don't look like the bus is coming. I believe that it's gonna come down to whoever gets that shot off. To be real with you, and if both Charlos have a chin, that's something that Jermell mentioned that I'm glad he did bring up because I've told people before and they act like I'm tripping. Harrison does have power. Like he has I think he has more KOs than Jermell. Matter of fact.
Yeah, people sleep on Harrison's power for sure.
Bro,
Jermell gave him props for that on that Zoom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Because I've said it to people before, like that. Oh, Harrison's a good boxer. I'm like, he has a lot of power too, and they're like, nah,
he got power.
I'm like,
every fight he lost, he was damn near winning. Like the Willie Nelson,
Jarrett Hurd, yeah.
Hurd, he was like winning those fights until he got clipped.
What's crazy is
we'll continue this conversation
for sure.
Where can the fans follow you?
Oh, find me at Iccy the One, ICCYTHEONE on all my social media, Instagram, Twitter. I would give y'all my Facebook, but
no, don't do it.
Oh no, I got my family on there. Yeah, y'all gonna come on my damn page talking about something. Oh, is this E-girl's boyfriend and all this weirdo shit? Nah, that niggas tripping.
They trying to violate. All right, I'm gonna be in touch with you, Iccy, and then we'll talk more about this boxing. I can't give too much. We got to give it to him in small doses.
Do you wanna?
I'll help. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.